this right here was epic. I wasn't ready. I, kind of one of those things where you're just like, okay, I know the guard changed and everything, and there's gonna be some new things coming. And I had a feeling that he was gonna come back. I didn't know it was gonna be this fast. This is literally 1 week after the Ric Flair event. He had been posting TikTok and like all these cryptic messages on his Instagram. So I figured, okay, I wasn't totally blindsided, but I was still blindsided. you know, um, by now everybody knows they saw the footage. Everybody's seen the footage by now, but I just couldn't believe it. I was just like, wow, Triple H, you really, wow, thank you, thank you, thank you, and the slow build with him, especially after SmackDown tonight, 1 week later, just I'm still speechless. I couldn't believe it. He came out, Scarlett came out, the whole entrance to do. I was kind of hoping he would shave his head because he would look more menacing with the bald head. Just from a, I guess, yeah, look more menacing. But I still dug it. I dug it a lot. And the fact now that you have another contender for Roman to deal with, and the fact that not a word was spoken, all Scarlett did was put the hourglass in the ring, and it was like, yeah, time's ticking on your ass, Roman. And I believe it. It's like, yeah, I could see it happening one way or another. I could see it happening. Yeah, I guess if you can block out what happened tonight and just maybe react to just him coming back to WWE in the fashion that he did, and just your initial reaction.
Well, regular listeners to this podcast know that I was not a huge fan of Kross. His character in NXT I just did not think he was believable in that role of this indestructible force. I didn't buy it, but it doesn't mean I didn't see potential in him. I did. And I hated what they did to him when he got to the main roster, putting him in this ridiculous mask and taking away Scarlett. It just, what were you thinking?
Worst part.
Yeah, exactly. So what were you thinking? So when he comes back, first of all, I don't follow him on Instagram. I'm not a big, social media guy. So I was legitimately shocked and pleasantly surprised to see him back. Like I said, even though I wasn't a big fan, I still see potential in him. I still see greatness in him. I'm just not as big a fan as most people. So I think it's great that he's back. I think it's great that they're immediately putting him into the league with Roman, with Drew. I think we need some new blood. We need some new wrestlers, some new faces. And I love what Triple H is doing. He's basically just saying, look, Vince, you made a lot of mistakes.
You dropped the ball.
Yeah, and I'm picking up the ball and I'm fixing all of the mistakes you made. I mean, I guess you're going to talk about it, but we also saw, well, we did talk about it. We did a SummerSlam post show. So we talked about the return of Dakota Kai and Io Shirai,
right,
who is now Io Sky. And then, of course, something happens tonight. I'll let you lead the way on that, as you are the host. But what Triple H is doing, he's just, I'm excited all over again. We've complained about Raw, we've complained about WWE, but I am as excited about the product as I have been in years. And I can't wait to see what else Triple H has up his sleeve for us.
It's not just the people he's bringing back. It's more than that. It's how the shows are being executed, how the matches are being executed, and time given to certain things. Everything hasn't changed. It's not like he totally flipped the script and gave everybody their first and last names back. He didn't. The 24/7 championship is still around. There's certain things that still are just around, and I think you can't necessarily get rid of it, flip everything around because of merchandising and video games and stuff. So you got to keep some things consistent, but you can, like I said, you can definitely produce matches and tell people you can, you have a little more freedom on the mic. I'm not going to hand you a script and then you have to memorize by 5 o'clock and be able to deliver it like you mean it. I mean, and then subtle things. So not every return has been like boom in your face. I mean, Monday you saw at the end of the night you saw Dexter Loomis. I mean, a lot of people might not even know who Dexter Loomis is, but you saw him,
Mhm.
and I think it's one of those things where he's just like, okay, plant this seed, see how it proceeds, and we'll go from there. Um, Having that match with the Bobby Lashley Champa match. Champa would have never been able to get over like he is now, coming out with the Harley race robe and all that stuff. Like that would never happen under Vince. Um, he's been able to cut these promos that he's cutting for Miz and with the Miz. I mean that is working now. I never would have thought that would have worked, but it is. And just the way they're handling. I'm curious what he's doing with the Street Profits. I know Angelo Dawkins had a singles match with Seth Rollins.
Especially with
And
his shirt off.
yeah, and Montez Ford was acting a damn fool. Like I don't know what they're going with that, but okay. Um, and then tonight, uh, I like that the wrestling show started off with a wrestling match, and they're
Yeah, how
doing
about that?
they brought back the women's tag team championships during the tournament, and they're sticking to it. They're showing the brackets. They're being, consistent
And there are a couple of ladies from NXT
from
included in
NXT.
those
Yes,
brackets. So they're introducing us, or to not us so much, because even though I don't watch NXT 2.0, I know who the two ladies are. But Triple H is basically saying, "Hey, we're injecting some new talent into the product."
exactly. And we're acknowledging the fact that NXT is a real entity. It's a part of WWE. It's not this fake thing that we're not going to acknowledge. Like I hated that. It's a fucking fly. Um, and what I was gonna say. Oh, Karrion Kross's promo tonight, I thought was great. It reminded me of his NXT days where he would cut a promo like that backstage, and then you wouldn't see him anymore. You saw Scarlett. Scarlett was the real. She would do all the handiwork, and then he would show up and do the fighting. That's why that worked. He could talk. It wasn't like a Paul Heyman Brock Lesnar type of thing, but just her presence was kind of like, oh shit. It's like this ominous feeling, like, and I liked the swerve because I don't know about you, but when she came out, when Drew was cutting his promo, I thought they were gonna do the old cliche thing, oh, Cross is gonna come out from behind and attack. No, it was the Usos. I was like, oh, okay, you got me, you got me, good job.
Yep.
And I didn't catch audibly what was said between the Usos and Scarlett. Something about tell your man something, and she said something back.
Yeah,
Um,
basically they were just saying, "Hey, tell your man if he tries to step up to the tribal chief, he's going to have to go through us." She's just basically saying, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but she's basically just saying, "Hey, man, we ain't sweating y'all, you know,
right,
TikTok."
TikTok, exactly. Loving it, man.
Yep.
Loving it. And the biggest surprise of the night, man. So we got these two goofballs in the ring as they come back from commercial. I'm just like, and Pat McAfee is doing like some weird football, like how they do those like replays, and they would do all the circles and the pin marks on the football that let you
John
know.
Madden, the late great John Madden, who most people know from video game fame, was actually a former coach and commentator, and he kind of started that whole thing, drawing the plays and the boom, boom, make the sound effects. And so McAfee's
Hmm.
kind of doing that same thing on SmackDown now.
Yeah, so I'm like, where is he going with this? And then they're like, well, they got a mystery tag team. I was like, oh, okay. And I'm thinking they're trying to promote the Viking Raiders, or they're trying to push somebody who's already on the roster, right? Give them a squash match. I did not expect to hear
Mhm.
Hero.
How about that?
Wow. I was, whoa, man. So happy for them. So happy for them. I mean, and the crowd knew who they were.
Mhm.
Uh, it was great. It was great. Um, saw in some of the comments on Instagram, some people saying, "Oh, I bet Swerve is mad." I'm like, Swerve ain't mad. If anything, he's happy for them.
Swerve's
Why
a
would he
tag
be
team
mad?
champion right
He's
now.
tag team right? He's tag team champion right now in AEW. He
Yeah,
ain't
what's he
mad.
mad about?
No, people's gonna say stupid shit. Uh, Great to see them back though. Top Dollar was always my favorite one out of the group. I mean, obviously, B Fab is the best one to look at, but
Hey,
yeah, Top
one of my
Dollar.
girls, I like him a little thicker, but she's a good looking lady though.
Yeah, Top Dollar. To me, underrated wrestler. I'm still working on getting used to Ashante, the Adonis. I don't really like that name, but yeah, I'm glad they're back, and I'm glad that they needed another tag team in the division. So here you go, an organic team from NXT that can really wrestle. So glad to see them back, and Uncle Paul just keeps on delivering.
Yeah, and to me, what he's doing also, and I don't think we've talked about this, is he is erasing any doubt that Vince McMahon is still running the product behind the scenes. If Vince
Mhm.
McMahon was running the product, the return of Top Dollar, B-Fab, Ashanti the Adonis, the return of Karrion Kross, none of that would be happening if Vince was still running things. So there's no doubt that Vince has left the product and Triple H is the man now.
Yeah, and like I said, I like that he's making changes all the while keeping majority of the show consistent with what it's been. It's not so drastic that you're like, damn, but they're giving you little nuggets every show to the
Mhm.
point that you have to tune in. And it's great. It's really
Yeah.
great.
Now you mentioned the 247 championship, and I have been adamant about my hatred of that title. Dana Brooke right now is still the champion, but if you notice for the past couple of weeks, they have not had those stupid segments where
No,
all of the contestants for the 247 championship come interrupting a match. They've eliminated that. My hope is that they just eliminate that title period. It's meaningless. It's not doing anything for Dana Brooke or anybody who's ever held it. But I'm glad that we don't get the segments, but I'm hoping that they just eliminate it altogether.
well, I'd slightly disagree. I think they're doing something for Dana Brooke because it's giving her TV time. Um,
Man, come on. There's a
it's
better way.
it's not a prestigious title, but I guess if you have a title, you have a title, and it's giving her. Look, she looks better than there's still some women on the roster not getting nothing. So she's got something.
Yeah, but well, okay, it's a matter of opinion. Like I said, to me, it's not a legit title, and like I said, there's so many
Oh, it's
titles.
garbage. It's complete
Yeah, so they've
garbage.
given her garbage. So okay, yeah, she has garbage, I guess, but garbage is something, I guess. You know, what I'm saying is, I like Dana Brooke. I just think she deserves better. You're right; they're giving her something, but look, we have this tag team, this tag team champion tournament now. That means something. Get her a partner and get her involved
They
in
should
that.
bring back the light heavyweight championship and just say it can be carried by either sex.
Well, how would you do that? What, you'd have intergender matches then?
I think they're getting toward that because if you look at the whole thing with Judgment Day and the Mysterios, I don't know how you do that because the third person in Judgment Day is Rhea. So unless
Well,
they find a female to join the Mysterios, I don't know how you do that 6 man.
well, you can't. But I mean, look, who knows? Maybe. Look, I'm older. That's not my thing. I wouldn't like to see that. But we've already seen it in other companies. We've seen it in WWE before, so I wouldn't be shocked if we do see it.
Yeah, Ronda was picking up Triple H not too long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't a match,
No, it was.
we have seen China wrestle Jericho. Is I mean, almost
Oh
20
yeah,
years ago they
oh
were doing that.
yeah, China and
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so
Jarrett.
we've seen it. It's not a new thing. We
No,
have seen it.
yeah, Eddie Guerrero in China.
Yeah, I once saw a match between Jeff Jarrett and Jacqueline.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Well, first of all,
nothing
Jeff
new.
Jarrett went on a whole streak of intentionally hitting women with that guitar. This was like
Yeah,
six
yeah, man.
months of him only hitting women with the guitar.
Hey, man, I saw Bubba Ray Dudley
Oh, with May
pound,
Young.
yeah,
Ugh,
drop May Young, do a not a Dudley Death drop, but like a
it was
not a
power
power
bomb.
driver either. The
Power
power
bomb
bomb through a table. Yeah,
off the stage
yeah,
through
onto
two
yeah.
tables.
You remember that?
And if you
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
that back,
So like I said, it's not my thing.
yeah.
I really that's not my thing. I wouldn't like it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went that way.
Well, if you watch that clip back, you can tell she did the tap on Bubba's or the grab. I don't know if it's a tap or a grab to let them know that they're okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look, I'm sure she was okay. It's not that. It's just it's uncomfortable for me to watch that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We know wrestling's entertainment, but we also know legitimate injuries happen.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've got a 250-pound guy taking on a woman who's 180 pounds, you know, you never know what could happen. Hopefully, nothing bad. They're professionals. But yeah, not my thing.
Yep. And then we had the I don't know how you felt about tonight with the Drew McIntyre stuff with the Usos and Sami Zayn, and I all got confused because at first I was like, damn, they're really burying Drew ahead of his match. I mean, it looked making him look like shit. And then he kind of came back and they had the 2-on-1. And I was wondering, I almost thought somebody else was going to come back to be his tag team partner. And then when Madcap Moss came, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, I give you that. But I just, man, they got to change that. Now he's not Madcap. I'm calling this guy Madcap. He's jacked up. He's
Yeah, just go back to calling him Riddick, or I
Riddick.
mean, they like these one word names. Just
Moss.
call him Moss. Yeah,
Moss. Yeah.
you know, you can't call him Riddick. You know, Vin Diesel already has that locked down, but you know, call him Moss then.
Yeah, Riddick Moss, or just give him a different first name. I don't care. But
What did you think of the segment? I mean, we had a contract signing without
oh
any.
yeah.
There was no authority. Like Adam Pearce wasn't there.
Nope.
You just had a table, and then you just had. Well, I'll let you go on
No, good.
well, you have this table set up for the contract like normally. No officials out there officiating the contract signing. And before the two principals in the match come out, here comes Ronda Rousey through the audience with a bag of money, talking her smack. And that was great. It was great to see Ronda. And here's what's great about it. The crowd is now cheering Ronda, even though she's to me kind of
They've
behaving like
never done that.
no. And to me, she's kind of behaving like a heel. But you know what?
They like it.
And I think it fits Ronda better. I
Mm-hmm.
think she look the baddest woman on the planet. Okay,
That's how she should act.
you're right. And so the crowd is feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get Shayna Baszler coming out, kind of telling Ronda, hey, that's not how we do things around here, blah,
I
blah,
didn't like
blah.
that.
I didn't either. And then Ronda's telling her, you know what? You used to be a killer.
I did
Now,
like
first,
that.
I did like that too. Now, first of all, I'm not, this must be another Triple H call, one that I'm a little shaky on. I'm not sure I agree with. You have Liv Morgan, who's the champ now. And of all the ladies on the roster you could give this opportunity to, you give it to Shayna Baszler?
Uh, okay. Guilty as charged. Yes, probably a Triple H move. But when you look at who else you have, Natalia, seen it. Raquel Gonzalez ain't ready. Shotzi ain't ready. Aaliyah, fuck out of here. Um, look at everybody else who's there. You don't have Sasha or
Yeah.
Naomi, so that's probably the biggest reason. If they were around, she definitely would be in that spot, no question. But he's trying to put over who he and give those people essentially the spot they had in NXT. And I felt like we've all said it. Shayna's been booked wrong since she's been called up. And I think this could be a course correction. Hopefully by her, way too early of a prediction, but should she beat Liv, this will give grounds to have a true Raw feud with Ronda. And you can have, I don't know how you would do it with Shayna as the babyface. She's never been a babyface. And she didn't cut a babyface promo tonight either. So it's just, I don't know. That whole exchange was weird. But Liv being hurt, and I was a Liv supporter at the beginning of the year. I still don't, it has nothing to do with her in-ring, it has nothing to do with her character, but just the way these matches are going, the way she's been booked, I am soured on this whole thing. I'm sorry, I have. And the way I'm usually not this fickle, but that SummerSlam match ruined it. It just, everybody saw through we could see the seams. Like this, no, she's not in the ring with Ronda Rousey. She's not going to look good. Not when you have Ronda ragdoll and nobody, and then she with the way she won, it ruined it. And now you have her going up against Shayna.
Just when I was coming around to Liv, they continue to book her poorly. She's this victim who's always this incredible underdog. She's like a female Rocky, always fighting uphill against the odds. Man, it's just not working for me. And look, if you have Ronda Rousey available, why isn't she getting the rematch against Liv, considering how controversial the ending at SummerSlam was? I guess technically Ronda is still suspended. I'm using air quotes for those just listening. But if Ronda is available, why aren't we getting that? Like I said, I like Shayna Baszler. I liked her in NXT, but her run in WWE on the main roster has been terrible. And for her to get this spot, it's kind of surprising for me. If she wins, I'll be completely shocked. And I actually think that would be the wrong move, because I don't think nobody would buy her as champion. But I'm glad that they're not giving up on Shayna. I will say that. I just think putting her in a championship match, to me, what seems like from out of nowhere. I know she's been on the roster. Yeah, I know she's been there, but she hasn't really been relevant. And now you have her on one of the biggest cards of the year fighting for the title. It just, look, she's a fresh face as far as in the title picture, but I don't know, man. I like a rivalry between her and Ronda, and I like a match between her and Ronda. But if it's going to happen, Ronda should be the champion and Shayna should be the challenger. If you're telling me Shayna's the champion and fighting against Ronda, I know how that match is going to go. There's no intrigue there.
With Ronda and Shayna?
If Shayna is the champ, she's not beating Ronda. You know that. There's no intrigue in that.
I want to see it.
I want to see it, but I know how it's going to go.
You never know.
Come on, Biggie. You know Shayna is not
in a real fight. Ronda would win.
She's not. Look, I've seen Shayna fight in UFC. She's okay.
That's what I'm saying. In a real fight, this UFC, hands down, Ronda. But this WWE, anything can happen. You know, Ronda might be in the mind frame of, I want to put you over, because I come and go. You know, Shayna's been a mainstay since she got there. I can't remember the last time she took time off, to be honest with you.
I get all that. Despite that said, I don't think she's championship material. I think, for me, like I said, man, you have to be at a certain level to win a championship.
And she was NXT champ for so long.
But man, but the people on the main roster don't even know that. We watch NXT, but on the main roster, she has not done anything.
Not her fault.
I'm not saying it's not her fault, but the bottom line is, I don't think she's that over with the crowd. To me, when you're a champion, you should be over with the crowd. You should already be championship material before you get a championship. Shayna is not championship material. Not now.
I think the crowd believes
because
in her,
of her booking. You're right. She hasn't been booked, But if you're not booked properly, and then how are you championship material if you're not booked properly? If that's the
Well,
reason you're not where you should be, then how are you championship material?
well, you could argue Natalia's not championship material because she fucking loses every time she comes out there, but they put her in title matches all the time.
Well,
She gets the
but she
layup
doesn't.
though because she's been there the longest.
But she doesn't win. Look, I'm not look. If Shayna's got the opportunity, yeah, I'm okay with the opportunity, even though I would be intrigued by someone else. But for her to win, that would be ridiculous to me.
I guess I'm just surprised because I was like, I can hear you making this argument about Liv, but when Shayna, because Shayna has been the champion in NXT and she was very believable as
In
champion, she beat
NXT.
everybody.
But yeah, but here's the problem. We talked about it, the booking. If they would have booked her on the main roster the way she was booked in NXT, I could believe her character. But having her with Nia, and then when they brought her to the main roster, they immediately got her in a feud with Becky and got her in a
That was
WrestleMania
a
match
mistake.
with Becky. And
That
that
was a
was a
mistake.
bad match, and it was a bad move, and she suffered for that. And since then, they really haven't done anything with her. And I don't think her in-ring work is very good. I mean, I think she moves slow. I don't think she's very good in the ring. I just don't. I like Shayna, but I have been disappointed with her on the main roster because of her booking, but also I don't think her in-ring work has been that great.
Okay. You know, I don't know. I guess I want her to succeed. I want to see her do well, and I think the crowd is buying it. Uh, they definitely have not done right by her, and
And I do know that, and
it's
I
probably being
like
course
Shayna
corrected
too.
now.
And I like Shayna too. I just think that I just think they needed to fix some things up before just putting her in a title match. Okay, you can't go from being the low person
Well,
on the title totem
she did
pole.
win the gauntlet, right?
Well, the gauntlet is still one match. The gauntlet is still one match.
Right. Versus just saying, "Hey, we're gonna put you in the match." She had at least earn it, so it was built up to. So she
Mhm.
earned the match. If she
Okay.
wins, she wins. It's different because how many times have they just announced, "Oh, this you're the number one contender," just out of the blue? They've done that so
Sure.
many times, but at
Sure.
least they had the gauntlet to. She had to earn it.
So
She
you weren't
earned it.
surprised when she won. You weren't surprised she was the one getting the
I mean,
opportunity.
yeah, but
Okay, so why were you surprised?
I was surprised just because the fact that they just have not done anything with her. So it was more of a surprise that, oh, you're actually going to do something with her now. Not surprised like she doesn't fit the bill. I think she fits the bill to me. She has the look. She can. Is her in ring the greatest? No, I agree with you there. But she has a presence about her, and and that you just I don't know something about her. You can't take your eyes off her when she's out there, and you know she has something to offer. And I thought her promo tonight was the best promo she's cut since she's been on the main roster. Probably because she wasn't again handed a sheet of paper and said, "Read this, memorize this." You know that was the biggest thing. Um, yeah, I believe it. I wouldn't be
Okay.
mad if she won. I'd be like, "Thank God," and let's get to a real feud with her and Ronda.
Well, I'll say this, and I won't say anymore. I'll be shocked if she wins. I don't think she should win. I think that's bad for the women's title because you're putting it on someone who's not legit to me. But I am glad she's getting the spot. And look, she's getting the spot. She better make the best of it because if she doesn't, what else do you do with her?
Agree, agree. Um, it's yeah. I think with Uncle Paul back in the seat, it's just and I think that we should say it's not so much that he's going out of his way to change things. It just feels like that he's just kind of reverting back to everything he did in NXT. It's just like, okay, well, I have an idea in my head of how I want this to go. You have an idea in your head how you want it to go. Okay, let me hear you out. You hear me out. I'm gonna make the final decision no matter what. But I will at least do my best to incorporate your ideas. And then to me, that's meeting in the middle versus Vince would just yes or no. They ain't doing none of that. Or you know what? If you can get over with it, go ahead. And I think Triple H, the biggest thing, he has his hand on the pulse. He was the first to talk about the reality era. You know, everybody knows what kayfabe is dead and all that, and we're not going to try to hide it anymore. And you got to give. I think Triple H understands that in order for his wrestlers to succeed and have hope and be motivated, they have to have some of their own self involved with their character. And I think that that's what's helped make this work. Obviously, it's still WWE. It's not the product itself is probably not going to change. You're going to get, we're just going to get stuff that we've been wanting to see, and maybe the shows end on cliffhangers now, and you get surprises again, legitimate surprises. How he's been able to keep these surprises off the internet, good on him. And maybe good on the wrestlers too for keep because all the I had no inkling about Karrion Kross. I had no well, kind of just didn't know when. I had zero, none for Hit Row. That was 1000% a surprise, which is great. Dexter Lumis, a lot of people know who he is. I know you weren't the biggest Dexter Lumis fan, but I mean, just the fact that you saw him. And I'm hearing another name that I don't want to say because I don't want to ruin that surprise for people. But
yeah,
there's actually a few names. There's a few names being thrown out there now that Triple H is in power. Obviously, there's a rumor, Sasha and Naomi have signed back and they're just biding their time with this whole championship tournament. That's one of the biggest ones, but there's a few other names I won't say because I want people to be surprised. There's enough dirt sheets that y'all can go read and Bleacher Report and Cage Side Seats. I don't need to be the one to. I want to react. I don't want to break the news. We got a good brother for that.
There you go. Yeah, and look, I was glad to see Lumis back. I didn't like the character in NXT. I'm hoping they do something different with him on the main roster. I didn't like the silent guy who draws pictures.
I did.
Yeah,
it was different.
To me, you have to talk. We have to get to know you. I think it works for certain characters. Look, in the beginning, Kane didn't talk a lot, but the guy just walks around just kind of like a weirdo, not saying anything, but drawing pictures. Come on. That maybe other people like it. I'm sure there are some who
it's
do.
Not going to get you in the main event.
Well, but then why do it? I mean, don't you want to be in the main event?
Not everybody. This conversation we always have. Not everybody can be in the main event. So if you're gonna be mid card, be the best damn mid card you can be. Be interesting.
But do you think? I mean, look, I don't know Dexter Lumis's real name, and I don't know what his ambitions are as a wrestler. Samuel, but do you think he just wants to settle for mid card? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe. But I think most people who wrestle eventually want to be the champion.
But not everybody. We all know that it's a exclusive club. Not everybody can be a champion.
Well, at least it used to be, not so much now.
Kinda.
Man, come on. How many titles are there now? Not just in WWE. I mean, it seems like every other day AEW is coming up with a new title.
Well, yeah, they got all these big card and tag team titles. Yeah, I mean the title, the.
Look, we got. I mean, in WWE, we got. Well, look, we have an undisputed champion right now. I'm glad about that. Let's see how long it lasts, though, because I don't know if you've been hearing the same thing I've been hearing, is that USA Network are like, look, we want a champion on our show every week.
They have one.
Well, they want a world champion. Yeah, they have. You're talking about Bobby, right?
They got Bobby.
Right, and Bobby is over, and I feel great about that. I'm happy about that. But they want a world champion on their show.
And to be fair, Fox ain't even getting the damn champion every week. So
and I think Fox is going to start to complain about that. So yeah. I think, look, these undisputed titles never last. Each brand wants their own champion. And I think eventually we're going back to that. I'm not saying I like it, but it's just the way things are.
make whoever has the championship, make it mean something. Make it, you have to go to both shows. You
I
don't have to, okay. If you're the
I agree,
champ, the
man.
perk is you don't have to do as many house shows, but you do have to go to Raw and SmackDown. It's Monday and Friday, okay? You work Monday, maybe you work Wednesday, or maybe you work Monday, work Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Saturday, and that's it. If you're that
Man,
person.
you get probably the first time tonight you haven't got an argument from me, but you get no argument from me on that. I agree, man. Like I said, the more titles, the less they mean. So, like I said, get rid of
Yeah.
some of these titles. Get the
I dude,
247.
I fell out my fucking chair when I saw AEW with the the trio champions. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. Y'all can't even get Thunder Rosa on TV. And y'all got the nerve to pull out more belts. Come on, man.
Right.